all of the kids are verbal,
Okay.
and they're pretty high functioning. And he's never been in a school where there are this kind of variables.
Sure.
So,
We have, we do have, Tara was here because she has a classroom of students who are a little bit more verbal, who do have more academic skills. Now that I'm meeting him, we have a Building 6, which is our Kaplan Career Development Center, and the focus down there is two pieces. It's taking the skills that a student has and making them functional, so they can go out into the community and they can participate and work on job skills, but also just be able to work in a less restricted environment when out in the community. The students down there are much more verbal, more social, don't have those physical limitations, and can function independently in that kind of setting. So if you'd like, it wasn't my initial thought, but after meeting Moishi, I think it's a good option. I'm actually thinking Robin's class kind of makes a little sense, so we can actually go check it out when we're done here. And the setup of the building is just 6 classrooms. They're all 8-1-2s, so 8 students, 1 teacher, 2 TAs, and there are a few 1-to-1s. And it's kind of a nice feeling. The building doesn't require as much structure as a classroom in Kaplan would, because that routine is really how our students thrive. There's a little bit more flexibility, and students have opportunities to go out to work. Students have opportunities.
How often is that?
It really depends on the student. Some go 2 days a week, some go 3 days a week, some maybe go 1. It's really what also they can tolerate, and also
So that means there's like a
pairing.
1-on-1 or 1-on-2?
It'd be 1 person with 1, or it might be 1 with 2 students. We have 4 job coaches who go out, but some of our teaching assistants also go out. So
Hold on for 1 second.
when
Go
he
ahead.
goes out now, the speech and language and the OT teachers go out when they do their going to the grocery stores, and they plan and they go on the computer and they see what's for sale and what coupons there are,
Right.
and they formulate a menu and a budget, and
Absolutely.
they all go in and they shop and confer what if what's on sale isn't there, what should they substitute. I mean, it's really a high functioning program.
And we do something very similar. We have a shop from home shop from school. So our staff provide lists of things they want, and then our students from that list make the list of what they need to buy in the grocery store, where to find all the items, and they will go to the store and shop for our staff, and then bring the food in here and then deliver it to them.
And you said that it's just the job coach that goes with them?
Sometimes our teaching assistants will go as well.
And the teaching
Sometimes
assistant.
it's classroom teaching assistants. We have a mock setup within the building where we work on different job skills. So if we see that a student is really excelling in a certain area, that might be another job site we may want to look at. So we work on grocery skills. We'll work on teaching a student how to make up their own list, how to find the items, and where to locate them in the store. But we'll work on that in the building so that there's greater success when they generalize that to the actual setting. We'll work on hospitality skills, cleaning skills, office skills. I mentioned the grocery skills, clothing skills, and we're kind of always expanding on these different centers to kind of expose our kids to the different skills. We also have a mock apartment where we work on, can they make their own bed? Can they set the table? Can they put away their own laundry? Can they do their own laundry? Can they make their own foods? Can they wash their own dishes? All these great things that it's so important to know. And again, we're always expanding on that as well. So it's a nice piece of making sure students can do as much for themselves as possible, as well as helping create that vocational skill set. We do go out in the community once a month as well. Sometimes it is to just be exposed to a new area, a new environment. They'll go to the movies, they'll go out to eat, they'll go shopping for things they need for the classroom. They do a lot of leisure skills and kind of increasing the things that students like to do, so pairing new activities with activities that they find reinforcing. It's really a nice environment. They do about monthly activities as a whole, and they'll even pair students from different classrooms to work together. So students are rotating among classrooms, doing different activities that relate to a theme. It's a very active building. I was actually down there this morning, and most of the students kind of are able to just maneuver the building independently on their own, which is kind of a prerequisite of being down there, because they don't require the level of supervision that a student would need up here. So I think that would be probably, if Moishi were to be a Kaplan student, that setting would probably be most appropriate for him.
Building 6.
Yes.
Is there a name, a career development?
Kaplan, well, it's actually changing. It's going to be Kaplan Community Development Center, because a huge piece of that is allowing opportunities to just really be in the community and access the community as independently as possible. Because when our students leave and go to day programs, we know that most of the time it's 8, 9 adults with one person. So a lot of our students have a difficult time with that. you know, they require so much supervision. So being out in the community more often, allowing us for opportunities to fade those supports back.
I have a question for, you said they go out to eat, remembering he's strictly kosher. How would you approach that?
Well, one of the families will send in the food for that child to have, so when they go to the setting, you can still work on them being able to sit appropriately, cut their own food, eat their own food, and be in another setting. I believe we have 2 families in Building 6 currently whose children both are strictly kosher. So let's say they're having an activity or they're working on a cooking lesson, the mother will send in all of those things specifically for her son, kosher, so that he can still participate.
And then you guys take data on how they're doing here?
On
to see-
everything. So we are an ABA program. So every student has a data book. So all of the goals, all the individualized goals will have data collected on them, as well as any data that would be required behavior-wise. I mean, Moshi seems so fantastic. So we might not need any behavior data, but we'll have data collected on the IEP goals. We take data on all of the skills that we're teaching in the building, even if they're not IEP goals. That's usually done in task analysis format. We have how-to protocols to teach all of our skills so that instruction is systematic across people and across classrooms.
Okay, and then I assume you have like someone, a CBA on top
We have
of
a
it?
few, yes. So Building 6, we have a few psychologists. The one in Building 6, Sarah's in her program now, actually finished the program, just working on some hours. Our psychologist in Building 6, who's there full-time, is a BCBA. We have a few RBTs as well, registered behavior technicians, amongst our paraprofessional staff. And we have about, I think,
Who is
7 or
your
8
BCBA
BCBAs.
in Building 6?
Her name is Cheryl Benish. I'm also a BCBA. A few of our other psychologists are BCBAs. A few of our teachers are BCBAs.
I've read up on that and heard about that, how now there's a lot of schools and places where they want the psychologists becoming BCBAs as well.
And we support our staff. It's really great because we can give our staff coming into the field or finishing programs of supervision. We work collaboratively with people in the community who are experts in the field, who come in and provide us with supervision and training and consultation. So I think we're pretty advanced for a public school in regards to applying ABA effectively.
You missed, she's working towards her BCBA.
Oh, fantastic.
What
Where are
do
you
have
going?
left?
It's the supervision hours, it's finding the
It's
supervisors.
tough, right?
Hard. No, especially in New York, because it has to be from the same place that you're working and having enough hours. But I'm working in New Jersey, in Jersey City,
Okay.
for the first half of the day. And then ABA agency in the second half, so it's finding a supervisor for enough hours
I know.
in New York, whatever, I can't talk about it, gets me all angry.
No. And they just keep making it harder.
Yes.
It's like when they revise
Like,
everything.
do you want us to work or
No,
for you
they-
not?
I think they realized everyone became a BCB and they're like, well, God, we can't handle all the volume, so let's make things really strict so that
Right.
nobody can finish. Stop. It's hard. I feel people who are in now, I feel bad because
It's
of the
very
requirement.
hard.
And the licensure is completely changed.
Yeah.
You didn't even need hours then. All you needed was a check. I feel bad. Like, all I did was pay the state money and I got a license and now people have to complete all these hours and
Yeah.
they make the requirements so complicated.
She was applying in
Short
New York
time.
for jobs forever, and finally, you were lucky to get this in Jersey City. She teaches a class with autism.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you just got to keep going. Don't let it deter you. Just
No.
keep working hard because it'll be worth it. And it's such a nice
Especially if
community
you
of
finish the
educators.
education ready part.
I know.
I know.
That's the
It's
hard
so
part.
frustrating.
You know it's
We're all in the
frustrating.
same boat.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, taking the exam is not the the anxiety part. It's just doing the supervision hours,
No.
finding it. All
We'll
right.
do
So,
it.
and I just want to tell you a little bit about one of the programs that I have, which
Yeah.
would be Tappan Zee High School, which is in our South Orangetown School District. That would be the program that I would envision Moshi be able to fit in. We also, so that is a BOCES run program for students in 9th grade or about 16 through age 21. So
It's not Cove, is it?
it is, Tappan Zee High School Code, yep, exactly. So, the students in that program, we have, BOCES has 3 classes, and then South Orangetown has a 4th class. So, all 4 classes transition between classes. So there's 4 teachers, and they collaborate to teach ELA, functional math, literacy. We do have an apartment over there as well, where we do kitchen skills, apartment living skills, and also getting their academic goals met on a daily basis. Their students do go out for vocational training and job skills. We also do travel training with the students who on the Trips Bus in Rockland, those kind of things, so that they are prepared for adult life as they enter the community. They will also do field trips into the community on a regular basis.
Can I just stop you?
Of course.
You say you have jobs, so where do you place them from there?
We have a variety. We probably have over like 30 job sites right now. So we have students that go to local cafes and do work there. We also do home goods. We do Kohl's. We did some at the High Tour. We have a student at the High Tour right now. I'm just giving you like kind of like a variety. Supermarkets, pizza places. So we really try and do a variety, and we match the students' interests and the family's wishes with with the places we have available. And again, that ranges per student based on how many days per week they go out. So some of the differences that you would see between my program and the Kaplan Center up here, Building 6, would be that it is not an ABA program. So that's a big difference. So it's really more of a functional academic program. So we do EdMark as our functional literacy program, where we're working on menu reading, sight word reading, community sign reading, all of those kinds of skills that are needed in the community setting, which I'm sure you're working on as well. So while we're
But that's used in the high school?
yes,
So that means that they're on a lower level on reading if
no,
they're
no,
doing
it's
sight
just
word?
in addition. That's what it's called. It's called a functional sight word program. But they're also reading in addition to that. It's just so that when they go out into the community, they're also alerted to those kinds of That's what we're taking note of, ensuring that they have those kinds of signs down when students are out and traveling.
He's higher
Yeah.
functioning than that, then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So.
But
Yeah.
it's all differentiated. So
it's
if
all
the student
differentiated, right?
Was at a different level, those need to be met.
Yes.
So everybody's verbal in this program?
Yes, everybody's verbal in the program. Yep. We do have.
That's a very vague actual question. Because what does verbal really mean?
I think you would have
To
to go
one-
see it and
You
get a
would
feel
have to
for
get a
it.
seat.
Meaning, would someone be able to go back and forth, reciprocate in conversation
That program.
At
6 or
Tappan's-
7 times on topic?
Yes, at that program, I would say 90% of the students could. There's probably 10% that would need additional support with that, given that their processing speed is a little bit slower, or significant speech delays. So those 10% probably do use a device to communicate. Yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to take you there as well to show you the program. But it is not an ABA program, so that's important for you to know.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful program. I'm sure Mickey, you probably have you been there?
No, just let me tell this person I'll call back.
Of course.
Where are they?
I'm not sure they were in my room, so I just borrowed, but I saw these, and I thought you liked the National Geographic, right?
Oh.
Sorry.
I have an appointment with the endocrinologist, but I thought it was them calling.
Right.
yeah, there you go.
But it was one of those voicemails, good
Uh,
morning, you have an
oh, yes,
appointment
of
with
course.
Diabetes Associates.
Of course, yeah.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
It's all good.
because I want to change it.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen that one.
And
We
so-
probably should see it,
Yeah, you should.
but I know that you're very into wanting
Tigers?
the ABA, so.
Not really.
Well, especially just if they were doing the vocational and someone, like, I feel like the only way to see, for me, the progression, I like to see
You have to see things in person.
in
You do. You have
graphs,
to see
numbers,
things in
and
person.
trends and stuff like that to know.
Data.
Because your behavior.
Instead of it just the sense of,
Yeah,
No, you
I don't
have to see
know,
things.
is he getting, is he not?
Yeah.
I think he is.
Take data.
I'm the same way.
The data that they're gonna take at Tappan Zee High School is basically tracking his progress towards his IEP goals. You're not gonna see graphs posted in the classroom on data that, that you would.
I know those programs.
Yeah, Yeah.
And I think that some of the kids are much lower functioning. It's definitely in the South Orange Town, because it isn't kids all on the spectrum.
That's correct.
There are a lot of kids with MR,
Yes, that's correct.
and I have a friend whose son went there,
Mhm.
and
You're gonna see a bit more variety of ability and disability.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
He-
bigger, larger variety.
he had huge meltdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and he never had meltdowns when he was in his the
Yeah.
program that closed at Irvington. They closed it. I don't get it. You know, BOCES here doesn't do that kind of stuff. Southern Westchester decides that they'll get rid of the older, more experienced teachers who have been with these kids for a long time and really have the social skills down and all the functional stuff down and have a grasp, and then they'll say, I'm giving you early retirement. And then they'll bring somebody in with zero autism experience, no BCBA. So everybody from Rockland pulled their kids out of there. It started as the Pleasantville program.
Mhm.
You know which one I'm
I
talking
think
about?
so, yeah.
I'm around 20 years, so all those people who were great are retired. Bonnie Kaplan, do you know who she is?
Actually sounds really familiar.
She's very smart, very good. So, yeah, very, very good person. She ran a Cracker Jack program. And when they got rid of all of those teachers, you know, it's teacher dependent too, their skill sets and their ability to work with the population, so.
Well, it's a field where you get better with experience and exposure and training and consultation. You're not going to get someone fresh who knows. You can read a textbook, but unless you've been through it,
Well,
Right.
especially if they haven't been with those kids
yeah.
and that population
Right.
and that training, and they brought somebody in who was a reading teacher, okay, but didn't get pragmatic and inferential either, so. That was a very high functioning program. It's gone.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. You're gonna see a wider variety of students at that program.
And I think the one thing where you said it's like 90 in building 6, you may get maybe, and I'd be pushing
I
it,
wish I would listen.
30% of the kids who can have that kind of reciprocal conversation that you were speaking about. They are in the building, but it's not as many as you may have.
Right.
So although we're the ABA program, you may not have the ABA program, we have less learners who can have that kind of conversational skills.
You said it was 30?
About, I may be pushing 30, but about 30% of the building.
And that was in,
KCDC building 6.
Right.
right, that's what we were talking about.
So
Yeah.
there's a combination of both
Yeah.
of our, we each have something to
To offer.
to offer, so.
Is it, I told Mary Jean years ago, go down and look at New Beginnings, you need to replicate it up here. All those kids in his class are totally verbal, they joke, they laugh, they have reciprocity and conversation, nobody's counting how many times because they do it.
Right. And see, a student like that may not need a center-based program like Kaplan. So if we had a student who could do all those great skills, I would make a recommendation to go to district-based.
Yeah.
Well, he's on that level because he had ABA when
Right.
he was younger.
Right, and we have students who sometimes start here,
Yeah.
and then they kind of flourish, and then we say, hey, Mary Claire, we think they're
Right.
really ready for a district-based program.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes that intensity is really great at the beginning because it really is helpful.
Yeah.
But then you want to start fading back
Right.
all that support. You
Right.
really do want to, because you want
Right.
them to be able to navigate their environment on their own without all that. And it seems like he really benefited from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go see what
Right.
building 6 looks like?
Sure.
Take a look?
Yeah, I would love
How
that.
far is it, because I
So
may have to drive.
I'm going to say, why don't you drive? You can follow me,
Okay.
and then you can leave from there. I'll just show you the
Let me
building.
just quickly ask you a couple questions. Do
Sure.
they have their own lunch, or do they come here for lunch?
No, they have their own lunch down in that building.
So
But
they
they
don't
will
have
come
to-
up here for specials.
Like,
Swimming and phys ed.
oh, you redid your pool, right?
Well, it's not open yet. We're hoping for a fall opening, which probably means a winter opening of next year. But we are planning on that being ready. So he would have
That's
to
a
come up here
plus,
for
they
swimming.
have swimming here.
That's cool.
How often would they be swimming?
Most students, well, all students get it once a week. Some students will get it more than that if it's for 2 reasons. For physically impaired students, it's really beneficial for them to be in kind of an environment where they have limited range of motion. And for our students who are sometimes limited reinforcers, it becomes part of a reinforcement plan and they can earn it and work for it.
So it's not so much instructional as
Their
rewarding
one-time,
or
their one-time swim,
physical
we're
therapy?
actually looking at incorporating, I don't know if you've ever heard of angelfish. It's actually a full curriculum, which was created by a physical therapist. I actually met with them about a month ago, and it's geared towards students with disabilities.
Wow, very cool.
And I know I love it because it's a PT who created this, and it is a little bit more instructional. So it's
So
kind
the
of
PT,
well, we're
I'd
training
love
our
to
full
learn it.
staff to be able to do it.
Mhm.
So we have a swim teacher and 2 lifeguards who also function as 2 pool TAs. So all 3 of them will be trained on how to implement Angelfish.
so what does it actually do? Does it,
It's kind of an
Feedback.
instructional curriculum for being able to access the pool. For some students, it may just be how to stroke, how to stay afloat. It's also about following directions, how to desensitize students to the pool if they're afraid of the water. So there's different levels, and it also comes with a monthly PD. So every month, our full staff will watch a webinar of something new that Angelfish is putting out there to help our kids. It also gives recommendations for equipment we can use. And the woman was here about a month ago. It was fantastic. She's very strong advocate for the program, and it looks pretty
That's okay.
beneficial
Do you like to go in football?
across learners
Yeah.
because it targets a lot of different skill sets.
would you mind giving me that connection?
Sure, absolutely.
Because I'm on the board of the JCC in
Mhm.
Rockland County,
Mhm.
and we have 2 small pools that we do with summer camp.
Mhm.
But I think that would be very interesting.
I'll give you her card before we head down to building
Okay,
6.
that would be great.
Jump right there.
So that would be the reason anyone would come back up here, but we also do a lot of special events.
One
So
person in a family.
he may
is
come
enough.
up with a spouse for a special
We're
event.
trying to get my brother to put in a pool. 'Cause
Okay.
He lives a couple houses down. He can
Do you have
get-
any?
You've got
Yeah.
many more programs than you had when I was looking.
Who were you here with last? I don't know, was it the twins? Okay, that's
You
what I thought.
recognize me? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've met many times over the years.
Which twins?
The girls, the
Alan.
Allen
Oh.
twins.
Ah,
Were you here for their intake?
Yeah.
Because
I
that
was
was.
here for a number of meetings with them when they.
Oh, then I was.
remember
I might have
residential.
met you. I was only an interim AP at that time, so that was a blur. That year was a blur. It was like, what am I doing? So why don't we? Why don't we go to 6,
Uh-huh.
right? And then do you want to see the Cove program, and then you guys can maybe set that up separate, or what do you think?
Yeah, was it something, would you like to?
Let her look at this one first.
Okay,
And then we'll reach out if we need to.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I know that you're much happier with ABA, but do you wanna see Cove? The issue is taking time off from work, so we
Right.
have to get back to you to see when she can.
So let's go look at building 6, and then you can
Okay.
think about it, and
Think
then we
about
can
it
go
and
from
then let me
there.
know. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let me just grab
Perfect.
some cards. Thank you so much,
Of course.
Tara.
Thank you.
Of course,
And,
it's very
I'll
nice
have
to
you
meet you
follow me
guys.
down.
Very nice to meet you,
No, I'm good. I'll just
okay?
hold it.
Good
Can
luck
you
with
do me a favor?
everything.
Could you call Robin, let her know we're gonna come down and.
Smart,
Hey, you
smart,
too.
smart. Maybe I'll see you at Target one time.
I'll go grab my cards and I'll be right back. Thank you, Mary.
Oh, yeah, even better, even better. I'll say I have to go on vacation now. One day I'll get on vacation
I
again.
usually keep a bunch in here, and of course I did not grab a new one.
Did you guys ever hear about the Jewish Film Festival? And do you know which film I'm talking about? It's
I've heard of it, I'm not very familiar.
wonderful about high functioning athletes, young adults, in the agency in Manhattan.
Oh,
Such a poor turnout.
oh.
Well, because you can't get it to the right